Indie Mogul.
Alas, my apartment still has a mold problem, which I'm hoping to get resolved ASAP now that the holidays are over. But I have the heat off, which is circulating the mold, and I'm only going to stay here long enough to make this because the show must go on. Now let's do some movie math. Coming in at number 1, where it's been sitting pretty since it opened, is Avatar. Mining another 68.3 million, Avatar is now up to 352 million in just 3 weeks and has just crossed the 1 billion mark worldwide. That's right, James Cameron could fund his own actual space mission with that kind of green. Avatar is now the 4th highest grossing film of all time worldwide, edging out The Dark Knight and coming in behind Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Lord of the Rings 3, and Cameron's own Titanic. There will be a sequel, but I'm sure 20th Century Fox won't allow us to wait another 12 years for it. Fox's bet on Cameron paid off in spades, and they're now in a dead heat with Warner Brothers in a race to break the worldwide record for annual ticket sales. Both studios are looking at numbers close to 4 billion. As for 3D, for many, Avatar was their first experience with the medium. Was it for you? Write your answer down below, as well as if you want to see more movies continue coming at you, literally in 2010. Taking second place is Sherlock Holmes, uncovering another 38.3 million. Up to 140 million in 2 weeks, that's almost 5 times more than Guy Ritchie's previous top-grossing film, Snatch. Welcome to the big leagues, Ritchie. Robert Downey Jr. has got to be smiling too, as this gives him a box office streak of blockbusters to boast, not including The Soloist. As for Jude Law, it seems audiences like this pretty boy only when he ain't so pretty, or at least doesn't get in the way of somebody else's genius. And in third place is Alvin and the Chipmunks The Squeakquel with 36.6 million. With a total of 157 million in just 2 weeks, it's way ahead of schedule, as the original film had just 84 million in 2 weeks 2 years ago. And when you factor in a strong international gross, well, I'm sure we'll be seeing that squeakagy for sure. Elsewhere in the box office, It's Complicated took 4th place with 18.7 million, giving it a 2-week total of 59 million. That's a little weak for Nancy Meyers, which means her formula for filmmaking might be getting a little stale. Or perhaps audiences are streaked out as she's made 5 movies in the past 2 years. And it looks like Michael Oher is doing his job in protecting Sandra Bullock, keeping her steady in the middle of the pack. Yes, The Blind Side is still holding at number 5, taking in another 12.6 million for a total of 209 million. Not only does that put The Blind Side at number 8 for the top 10 movies of the year, but all that gold could very well translate into some gold for Bullock this award season. Julia Roberts, you should never have turned that role down. Your friend George Clooney knows better, as he's enjoying a wonderful flight on Air Reitman. Up in the Air is up to 45 million so far, and that number will only improve as the movie will certainly clean up at the Golden Globes and the Oscars. Not bad for a movie that cost just 25 million to make. The same budget to box office gross ratio isn't so favorable for The Princess and the Frog, which is up to 86 million so far, but cost 105 million to make, not including advertising. Let's hope Disney is still willing to give 2D animation another shot. I saw a whole bunch of movies this year, and after the break I'll give you my own top 10 list for 2009. So I noticed that a few of you had posted your own top 10 movies of 2009 lists on my Facebook page, so I thought I'd present my own here on Movie Math. Number 10 for me is 2012. What can I say? The greatest disaster movie of all time deserves a spot on my list. I was really impressed with the pure, highly realistic spectacle of the film, and I appreciated the racially diverse cast as well. Roland Emmerich might never make another disaster movie again, but he certainly went out with a very fun bang. At number 9, I'm putting Sherlock Holmes. While so many movies today are fascinated with the future, it was a breath of fresh air to see Guy Ritchie bring Victorian England back to life. Hans Zimmer's score, the production design, and art direction are a large part of why I liked this movie so much, and I hope they get some recognition come Oscar season. It might not be the Sherlock Holmes we all know and love, but it's still some good old-fashioned entertainment. My number 8 is District 9, which really stands out for a number of firsts. First feature for Neil Blomkamp, first real acting gig for Sharlto Copley, and if not the first, certainly one of the cheapest sci-fi blockbusters ever made. The South African setting was also a welcome twist and gave us an entirely fresh perspective on the classic aliens versus humans story, something I don't feel Avatar achieved. And yes, The Ugly Truth is my number 7 film of the year. Sorry, Proposal fans, but this is my favorite romantic comedy of 2009, and Gerard Butler's breakthrough role, with this and Law-Abiding Citizen proving he's more than just a nice six-pack. The Ugly Truth kept it real and made me totally forget how unlikable Katherine Heigl is in real life. I'm giving the number 6 slot to Fantastic Mr. Fox. After years of making live-action dioramas, Anderson finally went full diorama with stop-motion animation. Fantastic Mr. Fox had more charm than fur and tapped into everyone's love of miniatures. In a world where most directors are trying to make animation look super realistic, Anderson remembered that the medium's strongest tool is the imagination, not the computer. My 5th favorite film of the year is Watchmen, the director's cut. It's a shame Warner Brothers made Zack Snyder take a pair of scissors to his masterpiece, as most of the problems in the theatrical version disappear in his cut. This version tells a coherent story. I hope that Alan Moore secretly watched this, as he'd been relieved someone finally made a decent film out of one of his graphic novels. Hell, the opening credit sequence alone should put this in anyone's top 10 list. In 4th place, I have to put The Princess and the Frog, as this is one of the few movies I saw twice this year in theaters. Disney not only returned to form with this hand-drawn animated film, but also showed they could adapt to the times. The movie's message that wishing on a star won't make your dreams come true, hard work will, was a breath of fresh air in the princess genre. Randy Newman's music didn't shine quite like Howard Ashman's, but I caught myself humming the tunes nevertheless. Disney 2D animation is almost there. 3rd place, I'm gonna have to give it to Star Trek. J.J. Abrams actually made a remake that was, dare I say it, better than the original while still respecting it. He didn't even wipe out the old films, just picked up the time stream and created a nifty alternate universe where Spock is hotter than Kirk. And it was great to see shades of the 80s blockbuster back on the silver screen. Some things never go out of style. My 2nd favorite movie of the year is Moon. Why doesn't anyone remember Moon? Duncan Jones' sci-fi masterpiece should be touted in the same breath as District 9, but Sony Pictures Classics screwed it over royally and released it in just a handful of theaters. Sam Rockwell is an acting tour de force, and the movie's moral dilemma will not only horrify you, but really make you think about something which is probably not that far off in our future. Rod Sterling would be mighty impressed. And my favorite movie of 2009 is Inglourious Basterds. To me, Quentin Tarantino made the ultimate World War II fantasy movie. Everything from the script to the cinematography to the score was spot on. Christoph Waltz, Brad Pitt, Diane Kruger, the entire cast did a wonderful job. I honestly felt the movie had no flaws. And with the final scene in the theater, which was incredibly haunting, Tarantino taps into a powerful thirst for revenge that still exists to this day. But Quentin, I'm begging you, don't make a sequel or a prequel. Respect your own work and leave this baby alone. What are your top 10 films of the year? Write your own lists down below, and as always, thanks for watching Movie Math. It's good to be back.
Subscribe, comment, rate it.